I'm sure you've heard the news. There's a place where magic is real. Welcome to Egyptian Eyes. Step into a realm where the mystical meets the everyday. At Egyptian Eyes, our shelves are adorned with shimmering crystals, each one a gateway to healing and transformation. Cleanse your spirit with the purifying smoke of sage and discover jewelry that does more than just sparkle. It speaks to your soul. But that's not all. Our custom tea bar is a sanctuary within a sanctuary. Craft your own blends infused with the ancient wisdom of Egypt and sip your way to a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. Join a community of seekers and dreamers, all gathering to share their stories and journeys. Here, every visit is a step on your personal path of enlightenment. So why wait? Embark on your mystical journey today at Egyptian Eyes. Unveil the wonders that await you. Your spiritual adventure is just a visit away. Visit us now and let the magic unfold.
Hey, everybody. I am your host, Destiny, and welcome to another episode of Egyptian Eyes After Dark, where ancient wisdom meets today. So today I figured we would take a little bit of time and we would talk about some of the progress we've made this far, who I am, and what we do here at Egyptian Eyes. So there's no special guest today, unless you want to count me. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what this is, how it all got started. So why don't we start with a little recap? This is I believe our 5th episode, and Egyptian Eyes After Dark is more so about interviewing the spiritual community that we have locally and globally. And this is a chance for me to honor all my fellow practitioners, whether they do healings, readings, or other services. It's just an opportunity to teach and to educate everyone about the other ways that we can practice spirituality, other ways that we can heal, grow, and ascend as a consciousness. So this is our 5th episode, and I have interviewed a couple people, so let's highlight that. First, we did Pia. She's a beautiful past life regressionist in the area. She actually takes live clients here in person. She's really good at taking you back to scenes in your life that will give you the ultimate experience of healing and growth. Thank you to everybody that's joining live. I see you guys. If you have questions for me, drop those in the chat. Also, second episode, we interviewed Dr. Shakira Moore. She is an iridologist, and she focuses on healing just by looking at your eyes, which is really cool. And it's profound how much you can find out by just looking at your eyes or taking a picture of them. You can go back and watch any of those episodes on my YouTube page. Third episode, we actually brought Pia back because we wanted to talk to her guest who tried her services by the name of Jazz. And that was an awesome episode. You guys got to get an in-depth view of what it's like to experience a session like that, feedback directly from someone who had a past life regression session with Pia and how it went. And guys, it got really, really deep, really, really juicy. It's just something you got to go back and watch. Okay. And then last week we interviewed Dr. Tamara, and she is a womb healer of many sorts. And she also does Ayurvedic practices, clay wraps, etc. And she really taught us where, the woman's pain is held in the body, what she can do to help you with that. And we got to witness her actually doing a session with someone, which was really cool too. So that brings us to today. Today, you guys are going to find out more about me, who I am, and what I do, how it all got started. So feel free. Hey, Pia, thanks for joining. I can always count on you. So that was our lovely past life regressionist. Make sure you check that out. You can always see her flyers and stuff in store too, you guys. So back to me. Today, we're going to figure out who I am, what I do. If you guys have specific questions for me about any topic, feel free to drop those in there. And I'll be happy to answer for you. So I guess I can start from the beginning. My name is Destiny. Yes, that is my real name. It's on my driver's license. And I started my brand in 2008. 2008 is when I essentially woke up It's when a shift I began to experience showed me that there's more stuff to focus on in the world. And I feel like there's more to life than what I'm seeing because I'm literally experiencing different things. I'm having all these questions, I'm having different sensations. And I'm just like, what is going on with me? Am I just a weirdo or what? Little did I know that was going to open up a door to, where I'm at today and still going. So in 2008, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was doing makeup, and the name was still Egyptian Eyes. So I was doing makeup and runway makeup. I was traveling to different photographers, designers, etc. And I used to have really bad anxiety. So I got into crystals because someone suggested that I do that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a load of crap. That doesn't really work. And they were like, you'd be surprised. So I tried it. And little did I know it does work. So I've got lots of stories about different experiments I've done over the years to back that up from a personal perspective. But in any event, the short story is I got into crystals by 2011. I knew that I really wanted to work with crystals more. I wanted to make jewelry. I really just started making jewelry for myself, and then people started liking it, which I couldn't believe because that was not the goal. I was just trying to be cheap, and make some stuff so I don't have to buy any. But that's not the plan because it was much bigger than I could have ever imagined. So I started making jewelry. It helped me with my anxiety and stuff like that. I was noticing the shifts. People started asking about it. I started taking it a little bit more seriously and started making jewelry for other people. Then I started doing like trade shows. And at the time I was working a full-time job. So the trade shows were like a weekend thing. And then I began to feel like so peaceful. The more and more I started working around stones, the more calm I felt. And actually talking to people that liked what I was doing also helped. And eventually the money that I was making started replacing what I was making at my full-time job. Now, of course, we all have been there where we just don't want to work and we just going to quit our job and be some entrepreneur. We don't know what the heck we're doing. And I too have done that too early, plenty of times. So for anybody out there who is trying to start a business or just not sure how they're going to get started, one thing you shouldn't do is be frustrated with the job that you have, because you should look at that job like a way to fund your dream. And that's what I'll advise anybody. So in any event, I was, doing that. I was working, I was doing my little trade shows, et cetera, et cetera. And I started actually reading people through crystals. Granted, I had a gift as a kid. I didn't really know that. It wasn't something that was talked about, this whole psychic word. And that word still kind of makes me cringe to this day. It's the weirdest thing. But I just prefer to go by an intuitive coach, right? So yeah, I got into crystals and jewelry. I started reading people through the crystals that they were drawn to, attracted to. And it just became this whole thing, something that I really wasn't even trying to do. And then as time went on, I started to really brush up my skills and decide to offer more services like readings, custom pieces of jewelry, whether that's wire wrap or beaded jewelry, etc. And then I started doing more and more trade shows. And then the trade shows really took over. And I was at a point where I said, well, I kind of don't actually have to go to this job anymore because I'm helping people. This is something I'm passionate about. And it's actually replacing my income. So I was like, cool, let's go. So after about 5 years, really, I'll say after 3 years of doing just trade shows, I had hustled up enough to really set my mind's eye on a retail store, which is kind of why you see me here today. Fun fact about my store and what I've been doing is I grew up in this area. So Smyrna is a second home to me. My elementary school is actually on this street. So it is a very sentimental experience to actually be a business owner right here. But once I opened the store, we expanded into, offering all of these other services, products, and I just get an opportunity to teach a lot of people different things, and to be a blessing or a vessel of hope and education for so many, which I'm very grateful to be able to do. So that's just kind of like a short, choppy version of who I am and what I'm about. But if you were to ask, like, what inspires me spiritually, I would have to say it is helping other people come into alignment with their higher self, or figuring out what their soul's mission is, and just becoming more educated about who they are and feeling comfortable in trying to get grounded spiritually, whichever way you choose to go about that. So that's kind of how that works. Some other things that we can go into are just basic information. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for everybody that's joining on Instagram. Keep in mind, when you ask questions, I can only post them on the screen if you are on my YouTube channel. If you're watching from Instagram, you can text them on there, and then I can just say them out loud. So thank you all for your support. But in any event, we can kind of go over questions, or I can talk to you a little bit about just different information that you might be interested in. Like, we can talk about crystals. A common thing that people come in and ask about are, where are my stones sourced? How do I know if they're real? Things like that. And so regardless of if you're going to shop with me or if you're going to shop in other places, the easiest way to tell if a stone is real or not is the weight of it. Like, does it feel like there's actually energy in it? Is it heavy, or does it feel like plastic? That's number one. And then number two is more so about the temperature of it. So how does it feel? Is it cool to the touch? Because natural stone should be cool to touch. Even if it's hot outside, you're going to feel the extreme heat of it. But you're also going to feel that coolness. And it's just something that it just kind of has this invisible dance with your body, and like, hey, this doesn't feel right. So that's one fun fact about crystals. Also, how they work. A lot of people ask me about that. I guess an easy example of that would be like if you were to go to a nightclub and the music was playing a lot of bass, your heartbeat would start to palpitate at that same rate, and you will feel like bump, 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 your chest would be doing that. And crystals work very similar because they emanate a certain frequency or a rhythm. And when your body comes into contact with that crystal, you begin to mimic that same frequency. So that's how you experience the healing. That's how you experience the shift. And that's how you know if your stone is real, because you're going to start feeling different effects of that. You can actually feel them when you take them off. You feel like a weight coming off of you. And you can also feel like warm, tingling sensations, warm sensations, or just, your nervous system being calm. So I kind of want to share with you guys a fun story about how I knew that they worked. And I can show you this video that is really my story, and I'll give you the full backstory. Okay, here we go.
I am sure you've heard about the little rocks people carry in their pockets called healing crystals. You probably thought to yourself, those people are crazy. Well, I was also a non-believer until one day I was looking for a holistic way to manage my anxiety, and someone suggested carrying crystals. I could feel a warm sensation in my hand, but I didn't pay it any attention. After working with one crystal for a few days, I completely lost my desire to smoke. Mind-blowing, right? It turns out that amethyst was one of the best crystals for sobriety. In the Greek language, amethystos means not drunken, commonly known to prevent intoxication. That's when I discovered crystals choose you. The stones you are attracted to help you balance or manifest your heart's desires. So what crystals are you drawn to? Go to www.egyptianeyesboutique.com and let us help you manifest your destiny. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Egyptian Eyes Boutique.
All right, so I know the video is cheesy, guys, But honestly, that's my story. So you remember how I was telling you when I got into crystals, and I see your questions, guys. I'm going to start posting those in just a second. Thank you for sending those questions. When I got into crystals, I started making my own jewelry just for me. And I really didn't know what I was doing. So I just had it in my mind that I was going to whip up all of these rings. And I had got like the beaded kind of amethyst that's on a string so I could figure out how to wire wrap. And so I must have made about 50 of them. And some of them were really horrible looking, but it didn't matter. I was determined to figure this out. So I started making them. And at this time, I'm actually embarrassed to say I was a cigarette smoker. Like, it was my thing. It was, no judgment to anyone who still smokes, but it was not cool for me. So anyways, I make this batch of rings and I go to smoke my little cigarettes and I'm gagging. I'm like coughing out of control. And I didn't think anything of it at the time either. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm tired. Maybe I smoked too much today. So next morning comes, I go to smoke. I'm gagging. When you're a smoker, you have that morning cigarette. That morning cigarette was not for me. Okay. So I was still gagging. And I was like, what's up with that? Didn't think nothing of it. I was like, well, maybe I need a break, or maybe I'm coming down with a cold or something. I go to work wearing this handy dandy ring I tried to whip up last night. And someone said, oh, that's a nice ring. I said, really? Because to me, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess I'm a natural. So I come to work with this ring on, and she's like, well, what is it? And I was like, it's amethyst. And she was like, well, what's it for? And I was like, I don't know. I just got into crystals. Let me look it up. And come to find out, it actually was for breaking habits. And in the Greek terms, like you just saw in the video, it literally meant not to be drunken. So back in the day, they would wear a lot of amethyst in efforts to prevent them from being intoxicated, from drinking too much. And it means not to be drunken. So if you think about it, it helps you with breaking habits. It helps you with divine guidance, spiritual protection, etc. And it just kind of moves things that don't serve you out of the way. Hence, I went to smoke these cigarettes and I wasn't able to do it, right? And so that's when I really started to learn that not only does this work, but they choose you, because at the time I was just trying to make a ring. I didn't look for what property is in the stone to know what it did. I didn't have enough information for that. So what I'd also like to share with you guys who really don't know anything about crystals, that actually happens to be my sweet spot. I work with a lot of beginners new to spirituality, new to crystals, and the best advice I can give you is to look less at what they do and research what crystals are good for this and that. It's better to just come in, look at the stones and see what resonates with you. See which one you're drawn to, because the crystal does choose you. So other fun facts about crystals. I have a question here from Pia. Hey, Pia. And she wants to know, how do you cleanse crystals and how often? I think that's an amazing question. It's something that there's so much taboo around. It's just crazy. So how to clean your crystals. There are a few different methods. The easiest method would be to smudge your stone. So you can use a sage stick, a Palo Santo stick. You can just whisk it around. You can cast out any impurities over that stone. So I like to say, let's remove any energy that doesn't serve me. Let's call in whatever the properties of that stone are. So let's call in love and abundance, or let's call in protection and guidance, etc. And so it is. So you can clean it that way. Sage, Palo Santo, you can clean it with, some people take it and put it in Epsom salt. But you have to be careful about the salts, guys, because some crystals can actually be in salt because of their molecular structure. So you want to be really careful about rubbing your stones in salt. The easiest method is either going to be sage, Palo Santo, or selenite. Selenite is another crystal. Thank you, Mimi Loves, for joining. Thank you, author Chanel. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Gold Boy. All of you guys, thank you for joining the chat. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in. Thanks, Instagram. So you can use selenite. Selenite is the only crystal that you do not have to clean. So they make it in these charging plates where you can put it on just like a bowl or on a charging plate. You can just sit it there and it pulls the impurities or negative energy off of the stone. That's a really powerful way to cleanse them. And then, like I said, some people run them in salt and water. Be careful on that. And in fact, if you go to my website, there is information on how to clean them, what to do, etc. Also, how often? That's a bigger question. How often? I tell people anytime you have a significantly emotional event, that's when it's time to clean those bad boys, i.e., arguing, crying, stress, depression, anything that has your energy off is when you need to clean your crystals. Because unlike us, crystals, they don't change. Like they always vibrate at the same rate. They're not impacted by emotions or anything. But what they also will do is just store energy. So that's why you have to clean them. So anytime you having a bad day or at work or somebody comes over that upsets you, etc., that's when it's time to cleanse your stones. Which brings me to another question. Someone asked me earlier, does a crystal ever die? And I thought that was the most profound thing to ask. So the short answer is yes, but the real answer is no. And an example of that would be your cell phone. Your cell phone, we can talk on that thing all day long, but you might get a day or two before it's time to put that bad boy on the charger because the battery dies. But the cell phone is still going to work after you charge it. So that brings me to my next point. After you have a significantly emotional event, it's good to cleanse it and it's good to charge it. How do you charge your crystals? Well, you can take your crystals and put them in the windowsill. You could put them in a car, in a bowl outside. You could put your jewelry outside, just somewhere where it gets direct sunlight or moonlight. A lot of people would say, well, how do we know which one to use? Well, that depends on you. If you're a sun person and you love being in the sun and it refuels you or rejuvenates you, then you want to charge your crystals in the sun. But if you are more of a moon person and you really resonate with the energy of the moon and it doesn't drive you crazy like it does me, then you need to charge your things in the moon. I don't charge in the moon because the moon and we don't always get along, but the moon is beautiful. So I charge in the sun primarily because that's my lane. That's my safe spot. So that's completely up to you. I have another question here. Does the size matter? This is one of the few instances where size does not matter, ladies. You can use whatever size you feel comfortable with. It really matters what it is that you're going to do with it. So, are you wanting to get crystals to help you attract more wealth? Well, you might want to think about wearing them more than just carrying the little tumbles in your pocket. If you want to meditate, it might not make sense for you to have a small little tumble stone in your hand because when you're meditating, you might want to feel it more. So those are all things to keep in mind. When it comes to crystals, like I say, it's a very intuitive dance. Your body knows what it needs, and the crystal will always, always choose you. So another thing to think about is, crystals, you can use them in different ways. A lot of people organize them by chakra. Most people in the U.S. recognize the 7 chakras. So they are assigned to different colors. The black ones are for grounding. The red ones are for also the root chakra, or some people use red and orange interchangeably for the sacral chakra, yellow for the solar plexus, etc. So you just kind of start working with different ones, and then you'll see what makes up your best crystal makeup, if you will. But what you'll find is that crystals show up at different times. Another thing is that people call a lot about, oh, my necklace just popped or my bracelet just popped. What does it mean? It depends. Did it pop because you stretched it on something, or did it just pop out of nowhere and nothing was wrong with it? Those are all things to kind of pay attention to. Because if it just kind of stops working and it just pops out of nowhere, then that could be indicative of the energy wherever you're at being too powerful and the crystal bracelet, ring, or necklace just absorbing too much. It doesn't always mean it's negative. It could just mean that the crystal has served its purpose, you know? That could be something too. Let's see, what's the question here? Have you ever experienced a crystal that leaves after a while? Yeah, I was just talking about that. So, yeah, what you will notice is that crystals leave and come back. They kind of do this thing where they show up when you need them, or sometimes the crystal has served its purpose and it will disappear and reappear. So have I personally experienced that? Yes, countless times. I used to work with a lot of citrine, which is no coincidence, because citrine is one of the best crystals to work for, or excuse me, work with when you are an entrepreneur. It's one of the best crystals for creativity, attracting wealth, all of that. And so, yes, I experienced one time where I couldn't find the main citrine crystal necklace that I was wearing, and really, what it was I kind of needed to slow down. I was working way too much, right? And I found that after about 4 weeks, I went and moved something, and it was like under the bed. And I was like, wow, funny place that this is, right? So yeah, they'll disappear, come back. Thank you for joining Manifested Realities. Hey. Yeah, they will run away and come back to you. So the other thing about crystals, this session is more about me, but this is a part of who I am. Crystals is one of the divination tools that I work with. And if you've ever contacted me for a reading or a session, then you will know that these crystals will tell me all of the tea. I can read you based off of the stones that you are attracted to. And if you haven't booked a session with me, the way you book is running at the bottom of the screen. Or you can go directly to Instagram and click on the links and you can schedule me that way too. But I can actually tell you a lot just on the stones that you are attracted to. As a clairaudient, I do get information from my guides that helps me, give you guys the messages that you need. But also there's just certain things or certain crystals that will show up for certain issues or certain things that need to be fixed. And I've seen this countless times. It's like, who would know, right? So yeah, one of the ways that I read, because I am an intuitive coach, or i.e. psychic, I don't like to refer to myself as that because most of my clients have been with me for years, right? I started reading professionally I want to say professionally, where I started taking a lot of clients in 2009, 10. But I wasn't out like that. I wasn't telling people this is what I did. It would just be people that called me and I would give advice to them. But as far as walking in my true power, like doing this every day, all day, 2018, 2020, those were all spikes where I really had to use my gifts and help the consciousness for everybody that needed help and guidance. I got a question right here. It says, what a wonderful gift using crystals as messengers. Thank you, Alicia, for saying that. Yes, they are great little messengers. They will tell me all of the tea. And they're really helpful at healing and balancing out different energies. But as for reading, so that's one way that I read. I do, clairaudience, where I can hear different messages. Clairvoyant, I can definitely see different things. I do get requests for mediumships. I can do medium. Sometimes they would just show up and I have to tell you things. It's not my favorite, but I can do it. And a lot of people call me for that. I'm just more of a lot of people like break up different pieces of what they do. I'm more of you're going to get everything the spirit wants you to get. So I'm going to start with your crystals. And then I might go into automatic writing, just whatever I'm hearing before you say anything. I can do tarot. And then, like I said, whatever guides want to show up, or if there's anyone that transitioned that wants to say anything, those often come as well. And so just to share that with you, readings are something that, like I told you before, I've been doing since I was a kid, but not like I'm a reader. It's just I would tell people things and they would happen. And I had no idea. And people would say things to me like, you must be a psychic, you're a psychic. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I just completely was not resonating with the word, the term, nothing. I was like, whatever, maybe I'm just really good with people. I don't know. But I definitely want to share this message to anyone watching. Like, it's, if you have something that you're really good at, whether that's spiritually or not, then I would encourage you to just go ahead and get it done and offer that to the world. And don't wait and don't compare yourself to others, because what you have is unique for you and it can help a lot of people. So don't be like me where you just keep running until your spiritual team come and gets you and makes you sit down and do this. That's not fun either. That's so not fun. But yeah, so I do the readings. Fun fact, because a lot of people ask me, is this all that I do? Yes and no. I do this full time, i.e., running the crystal shop. If you are new to my channel and new to me, I do own a retail location in Smyrna, Georgia, located near the Brave Stadium. I sell lots of spiritual tools, from crystals, candles to jewelry. And I also offer a lot of services. I have a lot of practitioners and events that come here as well. So yeah, I do that. But the other thing I do is small business coaching. That's something I've been doing. I think the first person I helped get a retail store, that was in 2009. So I do a lot of mentoring on the side, helping people start their small businesses from start to finish. You can also contact me for that, small business coaching, or even just the legal side of it, documentation, etc. I'm a great resource for that too. All of those prices and stuff like that are on my scheduling links for my consultations. I like to do them consultation oriented, because people might need different things. The cool thing about it though is, there's no way for me to not incorporate my intuitive edge on it. So that's why I like saying I'm an intuitive coach as well, because I can help you with small business, but we also check into that spiritually to see what kind of things we need to keep our head on a swivel about as it pertains to your business endeavors. Anybody that wants to ask any questions, feel free to ask that. I also want to talk to you guys about, let's see, some things coming up this weekend. We are having the Big Psychic Fair this weekend. Let me find that. The Big Psychic Fair, you probably will get emails or text about this tomorrow, but I'm going to pop the flyer up real quick. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So that flyer is talking about the, hey, thank you for joining us, Dr. Shakira. I was just telling people about your episode a couple days ago. So yeah, the Psychic Fair is this weekend. We will have a lot of talent here, a lot of different readers. We will have energy workers. Somebody will be doing numerology. There's somebody doing Reiki. Lots of different types of readings, from mediumship to tarot. The other thing is, I get a lot of people that ask me, why don't I offer my services at the Psychic Fair? And the reason for that, and people probably don't think about this, the Psychic Fair prices are $25 a person. And the idea of this is for you to test out different psychics and see how they work and who resonates with you. I really want to be fair to the talent that's at my facility, because if I were to put my board up and say that the owner is offering readings, that's taking money out of their mouths, right? So I am thinking about a way to let you guys sample my work at a more affordable rate from time to time, but it won't be at the psychic fairs because it's just not fair to the other talent. Because if I was going to one of these events and I saw the owner was doing it, I'd be like, let me go with her. You know what I'm saying? So it's just in efforts to be fair. It's not that I'm bougie. Anyone who knows me knows I'm really down to earth. Okay. I have a question here from Alicia. It says, how do you stay true to your gifts and style when tarot or other spiritual practice have started becoming trendy? You know what? That's a great question because it is getting a little Jerry Springer-ish with these tarot channels, right? How do I stay true to my gifts? You know, the funny thing is, I've never been a person that wanted to follow or do what other people are doing. I'm so nonchalant. I really don't know what's happening in the outside world. Anyway, that's just me by nature. But to stay true to my gifts is to operate from a place of integrity and honesty. I often tell people when they have a session with me, hey, I'm not a fairy tale reader. I'm just going to tell you exactly what comes up. You might not like this, but here's the truth. Or, hey, this is what I got. And another way to stay true to myself is I'm constantly sharpening my knife, just in other ways. For instance, how do you get better at something? And this is for my new people that are new to tarot and stuff like that too. The only way to get better is with practice. So the more and more people you work with, but the best practice is yourself. You can take a tarot deck and you can ask yourself things that you know to be true and see how those play out for you in terms of how the cards fall, and then begin to develop your own style. I can also say what makes me different from most tarot readers is it's just that they read tarot. The tarot can be very rigid in terms of this card means that and that card means that. It can be very strict with all 78 of the cards. But for me, you know, I'm clairaudient. So I actually hear things and I'm seeing the pictures. So I don't actually have to use anything to read you. I just use the cards to really for you guys to see the pictures. So the way I stay true to answer your question, Alicia, is I trust the inner voice. I trust my intuition, and then I tell the story. A lot of people read tarot cards and they just read the definitions. They can't tell you anything past whatever the book says about what these cards mean. But when you're dealing with someone who truly has an anointing or a gift like that, it's really easy to tell what the real is. So I just honor being honest because I am at a physical location. You know, you people can come and find me if I tell you some bull crap. And so I try to give it all to God and let him lead me in everything that I do. And it just keeps a steady flow of a long track record of clientele that I am very grateful and honored to have. Hopefully I answered that and didn't go all around the bush, but yeah, I'm not here for the tarot games. And keep in mind when you guys are writing comments on Instagram, I can't actually post them up on the screen. I have to read them out loud. I can only post them if they're on YouTube for whatever reason. All right. So she put, yes, so true. Readings are beyond just the cards. Absolutely. They're beyond the cards. And then, you know, when you really work with people that have gifts, you know, they can feel other things. It's how I'm feeling. It's what taste do I taste? What am I smelling? Like those are all ways that I'm able to read. I just heard a little music. Okay. So Ashley Brewer, thank you for joining. Hey Ashley, I see you in some time. Hey girl. Yeah, so thank you for watching. So yeah, those are just different examples of how I read and what makes my style different. If y'all have any questions specifically, feel free to ask them. I'm just kind of telling y'all a little bit about me and what I do. I don't really enjoy talking about myself. But all the times I've done these podcasts, I always say, I'm your host, and then go right into whoever I'm interviewing. And I'd be forgetting that some people have actually never met me and don't know who I am. So I am the face behind Egyptian Eyes. If you were coming here when I first opened 3 years ago, mind you, next month will be my 3-year anniversary here at the store. But my grand opening wasn't until April of 2022. So I had the facility, but I just couldn't open. It was just a long road to success in terms of dealing with the city. That's another story I'll share for another time. I got a comment here. Hey, Destiny, so happy to see that you're living your destiny. Proud of you and all that you've accomplished. Oh, thanks so much, Ash. I appreciate that, girl. Happy holidays. So yeah, and it's just so funny, if I think about my story and where I'm at, I just knew I was going to be some sort of business owner or something in music. Like I have, a lot of talents, and most spiritual people do. They have all these talents. And what I want to say is that no matter what it is that you do, even if you think someone else can do it better, nobody's going to do it like you. Okay. And that's half the battle. So I would encourage everybody to just kind of face their fears and do what it is they want to do, because I knew I'd be a business owner of some sort, but I really thought I was going to be like this big music star first. That's not what happened, but there's still time. There's still time. But in any event, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than what I'm doing now. Because I get to help a lot of people, a lot of relationships, a lot of new entrepreneurs. Like that is all my passion. Seeing people grow, I think that's what makes this the most rewarding. And hearing you guys' testimonials and stories, I'm just blessed to be able to hear them and know that what I'm doing is doing some good in the world. And I mean that from the most sincerest place. You have to know that. Alicia says that's good advice. Yes, thank you, Alicia. And also, Alicia is on here, y'all. I call her a Ghostbuster. So I will bring her on here for y'all to meet her. She does like remote viewings, and she could tell you where anything dark and creepy is in your house. So I've been kind of telling y'all, if y'all been following me for a while, about this service, but she is the original Ghostbuster. Okay. I'm going to bring her on here maybe next week or the week after. So get ready, Alicia. So yeah, I was just telling y'all a little bit about me. Someone asked, what is the hardest thing about what I do? And honestly, the hardest thing about what I do from a reading perspective is, sometimes I do have to, tell people the truth, whether that is the truth about their relationship, whether that is the future of something they've invested a lot of time or money into. That can be hard. But on a personal level, the hardest part about being this way is it does require a lot of isolation. Because if you think about it, I'm kind of like a walking lie detector. So it's so funny when you see so many people that don't operate in their highest self, and they say things that are not true, and they're not true, and you just have to go along with it. It's difficult, because I really be wanting to say, do you know who the bleep I am? But that would be the toughest thing. The toughest thing is knowing when people are dishonest and having to act like you don't know. That is such a challenge. So that's not always fun. But in any event, I choose to love. I choose to do things from a good moral compass, and I'm highly blessed and favored because of that. Alicia says, you've inspired me so much, and I'm excited to join you. Yes, girl, get your what is the little backpack out? Ghostbusters! It's about to go down. I can't wait to bring her on. Does anyone else have any questions for me about anything, what I do? Oh, I forgot. I was telling y'all about the big psychic fair. I'm all over the place, y'all. Y'all know I'm scatterbrained in a mug. The big psychic fair. I have to give a big shout out to Anna. Anna is, I guess you could kind of say, Anna was and still is Gloria Parker's like assistant, right-hand man, marketing guru, etc. If you don't know, Gloria Parker ran this event called the Big Psychic Fair out in Roswell for over 30 years. She got her wings earlier this March. And after that happened, Anna put together something to kind of keep the fairs going, and they were without a facility. So I stepped in to kind of just offer my building up to keep the memory of Gloria Parker out here, because she was an awesome woman. She was an Aquarius just like me. She said whatever was on her mind, and she was a feisty little something. So it is really an honor that I host this event here on the third weekend of the month, and that I get to do this in loving memory of Gloria Parker. But yeah, so that is this weekend. It's only $25 for readings, $50 for energy sessions. So come on down and join us from 11 in the morning to 6 p.m. on Saturday, and 11 in the morning to 6 p.m. on Sunday. You can also get a lot of gifts. You can also get a lot of healing, network, meet a lot of people. Thank you for joining Baba XL. And Baba XL, I'm glad you did join. I'm going to bring you on in January if you have some free time so I can interview you on the podcast. He's a wonderful healer, guys. He does a lot with chakra alignments. He teaches a lot of classes. He's just a wonderful person to know. And I will make sure to get him on here to interview him too. Other things that I'm doing, much love, much blessings to you, Baba XL. Other things that I'm doing, let's see. I have started a sister site. You kind of heard me talk about it a little bit around Black Friday. And if y'all missed that sale, y'all is crazy. I did 40% off site-wide on my sister site. Thank you for joining Southern Beauty. I'm just yapping about me and who I am and what I do. So I have a sister site. Hey, Billy. Hey, girl. Hey. So yeah, I have another sister site. It is called Egyptian Eyes Emporium. And what that is, guys, is I'm able to offer you a larger selection of products than what I carry in store. So it's about 5,000 different types of products, from statues to a larger assortment of candles, oils, bigger selection of jewelry, etc. That site is not on sale right now, so y'all missed it, but you can check it out because I am also doing wholesale for my fellow entrepreneurs. I do have bulk buying discounts available and codes like that. So get with me on that if you are interested in that, or if you just want to see a larger selection of items. If I don't have it in store, you can check that site out as well. So does anyone have any questions for me specifically about who I am, what I do, what y'all need to know? Feel free to drop it in there. Oh, somebody is asking how I came up with the name of my business. That's a good question too. Thank you. How I came up with the name of my business. So like I told y'all, when I got started in this whole mini baby boss thing, the first business name I ever came up with ended up being the last business name, which is still Egyptian Eyes. I was a what do you call it? A very explosive, extroverted makeup artist. I still can do this stuff, guys. Anything kind of crazy, like paint murals on your face, all that stuff, I can do that too. But in any event, the Egyptians were the first culture to, adorn their faces, or at least document about how they would adorn their faces with pretty makeup and things like that. And so when I first got into the makeup scene, I was like, that's what's going to be the name of my brand. Of course, when I started that in 2008, I was battling with waking up and becoming conscious and just experiencing all these different spiritual things and astro traveling and just the whole bit. And I had a lot of questions. So when people really got into my jewelry and wanted to know who made it, which I was floored by again, I still kept the same name, because come to find out, the Egyptians were also the very first culture to document the uses of crystals and the metaphysical properties, and they used to wear them as weapons. So whether that was energetically or physically, like pick up a stone and beat you with it, they were the first culture to document that. So I kept the name. I've always been fascinated and obsessed with the Egyptian culture. Do I know if I am Egyptian? I don't know. I don't know that to be true. But I did one of those fun DNA tests and said I had a lot of Nigerian in me. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll keep digging, guys. But in any event, hey girl, hey. In any event, that's how I came up with the name. And it is an honor to get so many people that are interested in me and my brand, and just to kind of highlight different things that the Egyptians did in terms of healing. Also, speaking of healing, Most of you probably don't know this either. I've told you about, the way that I can help you with the crystals. I've told you how I can read. Let's see, I've talked to you about the style of readings that I do. I talked to you about me being a small business coach. The other thing that you probably don't know is I am really good with herbs and remedies. So this year I rolled out my tea bar. If you've been into the store, then you already know you can make your own teas and spiritual baths. But I also have my own smoke line as well. And these are other herbs that you can smoke for medicinal properties or to access higher realms of consciousness. So I have blue lotus, if anyone's interested in that. I have Dominia leaf, that's second best. It's one that'll just keep you calm. I have mullein, really good for the lungs. And I also have mugwort, which is really good for your lucid dream state. So these are just different things that I can do. I can make you custom baths. I can also make you a good smoke blend and a tea. And if y'all follow me on Instagram, then y'all have heard about some of my teas. The one that I make called Big Energy, I literally have a couple of clients that come in for that because they have been known to feel better in terms of tension in the body or aches and pains. The Big Energy tea has been known to heal. So we out here healing people. From a service perspective, you probably don't know this either because now this year, oh, thanks, Alicia. She said, I love your connection with the herbs. Yes, it's just really fun and it feels very natural. So in a past life, I probably was like a herb keeper or something like that. I was probably a shaman, I think. Pia gonna let me know that soon. Shout out to Pia for book your past life sessions, you guys. Her information is all over my website. And if you've come in the store, you already have her flyer in the bag. You got to get the past life sessions, guys. They're phenomenal. She has raving testimonials and reviews. Thank you, Elegant Creations, for joining. Thank you, everybody who's on my live. I appreciate your continued love and support. So, we talked about herbs. You can make your own herb mixes. I also do custom jewelry still. I was just telling somebody about that. If you haven't noticed and you've been coming in the store, guys, I'm completely owner operated right now. And that is by choice, not by force. It's by choice because there were some things I kind of needed to get into motion and to build a better connection with my audience and find out what you guys need. So I've really just been in here playing undercover boss every day, all day, and it's quite worth it. So I'm able to give you guys more services and things like that. So in any event, I was going to tell y'all about something. In any event, oh, jewelry, that's what it was. Somebody was asking me, about more jewelry and things like that. When I make stuff, so, I have to sit there and string bracelets, or I'll give my design to a manufacturer that I've been working with for years that will string them for me. But I also do custom wire wrap. I can do crowns. I can do whatever it is that you want. You just have to let me know and I can make it. The turnaround time on stuff like that is like 2 to 3 days. So that's how that works. Healing sessions, that's something that I also offer. So I do energy work as well, guys. I have combo packages you can get where you get the reading and we fix your energy, regardless of if that's cords that need to be cut from relationships, which is quite common. I have seen a rise in just relationships that people want to release and that they can't for some reason. So I can do those. I also do crystal healing. So if you come in, I put you on my massage table. We lay a certain crystal grid around your body for what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then we go through and do a series of guided meditations, affirmations, and just spiritual cleaning. So that is also something that I offer that you can get here by yours truly. Something else that I offer that you guys probably haven't heard a lot about is something called personalized peace. And it's where I can record specific meditations and affirmations for you, your friends and family, any names you want me to add, any things you want to accomplish. You're able to have those created for yourself as well. Because anyone can go on YouTube and listen to certain meditations from other people that know the theme of what it is you want to heal. But we can actually get to the root of what it is that you need, and I can make those personalized peace productions for you too. Anyone who has any questions, feel free to drop them. We got a couple of more minutes left for this segment of meeting me and learning more about me. This isn't the official interview. This is just me jumping on to tell you more about things in store, what to look forward to. Oh, what to look forward to. Also, let me tell you that you guys have been asking about the rewards program that is coming back. And I'm going to throw out some bonus points because I hadn't had it in a while. So I'll figure out something cool to honor you guys for your continued patience while I try to figure out, your continued patience while I've been trying to figure out the best rewards program that suits my brand and still makes sense for you guys to experience. So yeah, you guys will see that starting this weekend. We are going to have food this weekend too, so you got to come check that out. And obviously complimentary tea as well. Are there any other questions anybody wants to know before we wrap this up? Thank you, Truth Maya, for joining. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Better Call Talal. Oh, hey, Talal. Welcome back. Oh, thanks. Baba XL said that sounds very cool. And remember, guys, I can't post your comments on the screen unless you're on YouTube. So I can post those on the screen. If you send me something on Instagram, I'm just going to have to read it out loud. But let's see. What is this? Oh yeah, let me run my other website. Somebody was asking about that. Yes, you can book directly on my Instagram, or you can go to bit.ly/destinyreads and see all of my links. Please, guys, if you're on here, subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is something new that I've started in order to be able to connect with you guys. Feel free to send requests, or if you are a fellow practitioner and want me to interview you, I can check that out too. I just need to make sure your brand is in alignment with what we got going on here at Egyptian Eyes. Anything else you guys want to know, want to talk about? We got about 5 minutes before I go and meet the Father. Let's see. Somebody asked, what's the most popular crystal? To be honest, that's going to be up to you and what you want to accomplish. I don't think there is a most common. People tend to stick with the most familiar ones spoken about, i.e. carnelian, rose quartz, amethyst. Funny story about carnelian crystal. Yo, when I tell you that crystal really will make you stop procrastinating. I had on a carnelian necklace and I went downstairs to get one thing. When I tell you, I didn't come back upstairs until about 2 hours later because I decided that I needed to organize the entire basement. Why? I don't know. But carnelian really gets you going. It's a great crystal for libido. It's a great crystal for procrastination and lethargicness too, if you're looking for something like that. Thank you, Farhina, for joining. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I just jumped on to share with you guys a little bit about me, who I am, what I do, and what you can find here at Egyptian Eyes. We do have some fun things in store in terms of other events and other projects that yours truly is working on. So just stay tuned because I'm in a really creative state right now, and there's going to be so much fun we're having in 2025. So unless anyone else has more questions, I think we are going to wrap this meeting up. Let me look at one more thing. Yeah. Okay, I don't see any more questions. All right, guys. Thank you, Alexa, for joining. You're going to have to catch the recap on this. I just gave a little backstory of who I am, what I do in the last couple of episodes. So, guys, don't forget to check us out this weekend at the Big Psychic Fair. And I look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. And you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining. Ciao.